And mum is well, mum's happy, mum's doing okay, that's going to filter into the rest of the family. So hi, Mikayla from Chaos to Calm. Thank you so much for joining us. Today we are going to chat a bit about the products that you make, which are all natural and amazing and quite unique, I have to say, that are really wonderful for not only adults but can filter down into the rest of the family and benefit everybody. Because I'm a big advocate of natural products in the house and on the skin, and what you make is fantastic. So you've got a great story behind why it started, and I think everyone needs to hear that, what they want to get out of transitioning into a more natural lifestyle. So tell us a little bit about your story and how you got into making natural products for yourself and for other people.
Absolutely. Thank you, and hello. My journey is I've got sensitive skin. I've worked in the medical industry. I've worked in various different industries. I've also tried a lot of things. Some products have worked, some haven't.
What were the skin sensitivities, if you don't mind sharing a little bit about what you went through skin-wise?
It does run in my family. We've all got sensitive skin, to even down to, you know, when I was in my early 20s, whatever eye cream, face cream I was using, and, you know, my eye had swelled up, and then I had to use steroid creams to sort of get rid of that, and it was dry. And I was also given a lot of samples when I worked in the medical industry, and much as there were claims that they would do things, they weren't necessarily easy to use. I know one time I overused them. I was using it 3 times a day thinking, you know, we should be all right with that. And I ended up with, you know, chemical burn that it was worse and it wasn't making it any better. So it really came down to necessity for me that I didn't find anything that was clearing anything up. And I realized there could have been root causes, or you have to look at sort of the whole picture. So, you know, was it something that I was eating that was giving me an allergy?
An environmental element.
That's right. Yeah. So, you know, you do need to weigh all that up. But at the same time I was just consciously aware that your skin's the biggest organ, and it absorbs what you put on the skin.
Yeah.
So it came down to, well, if I'm absorbing it, then I started to really read the ingredients. And first of all, I couldn't read the ingredients because I just
funny long chemical names.
Well, this is it,
and numbers, lots of numbers,
and this is it. So I came down to, in my head, thinking, well, if I can't even spell it, let alone pronounce how something is, and I don't even know what the numbers mean. So if I've got to Google what the numbers mean,
then there's something in that.
There was coming down to, well, hold on a sec. Is this actually what I should be putting on my skin? Even down to perfumes. So I was finding that I couldn't stand a perfume. And when I mean I couldn't stand it, once I sprayed it in the room, I'd walk back into the room and be like, and whether it was too strong or it wasn't strong enough. Then I was realizing I was wearing it and I didn't think I could smell it, but someone else could. I was getting headaches. And
then that becomes a norm. If that's, for a lot of people, if they don't have skin sensitivities that are obvious, and reactions that are obvious, which was me. I didn't have skin problems getting into natural, but it was the normal to just have that every day.
Well, I still wanted to sort of have a perfume. So essential oils have to be careful that you don't put them directly onto your skin without them being diluted. That's why I stick them in the roller ball. They're diluted with fractionated
coconut. To make them into something else.
Exactly, just to slightly dilute it. Yeah. But the other thing is, a little bit goes a long way. So
you don't have to do a big spray and walk into it and gas yourself in it. You can just put little drops on little spots. That's sometimes a challenge with getting into the natural products, is there's a misconception that it's going to cost a fortune. It doesn't have to. It can. Oh, it definitely can. There's a big variety in price ranges these days, but
there isn't
something
anything
simple,
as well.
Exactly, and something simple with the main ingredient maybe being the scent goes a long way.
Absolutely.
So it could be smaller and slightly more expensive in size, volume, that sort of thing compared to something else, but you may use it for longer. Therefore, it balances out or saves you money. That's something a lot of people don't realize, is it doesn't have to cost a lot more. It can be just as affordable as everything conventional.
I've cut out perfume for years, and that's been started with, well, if I could wear them. The pressure points where I would put my essential oils, especially the rollers, is behind my ears, on the wrist, and another point is actually in your elbow. And the reason for the elbow is because you're actually not rubbing it, so it's not like you're not going to rub it off.
It's going to stay right on that little spot.
Yes, and also as you heat up during the day, so even if it was it actually, the oil works even better.
Oh,
so
yes,
there's various just little points. And the other thing is careful not to like rub it in, because the chemical, the molecules, how it's all set up. In other words, simple. Keep it simple. Put a little dab on it, put it on both wrists, leave it alone.
It's another benefit of the natural range of products, that you can pick a sleepy smell that could be used for nighttime, but then the same sort of product in a more uplifting smell can be used for your daytime, whereas a perfume, you'd only wear it for the daytime just as a smell. It's not going to give you an uplifting anything. It's not going to have any energy changes. It's going, well, unless, maybe deep down energy changes, but not obvious, oh, I feel a little bit more energized at the moment. It's never going to do that because it's just there as a smell.
Interestingly enough is, for example, where do you think perfumes came from? Probably natural products.
They did. Yes,
like flowers,
like things.
So basically, it's exactly the same. But I'm just not adding the mixture it has to, whether it's the alcohol based or etc.
Back in the day, when women didn't have technology and electricity, even, and they wanted to look after themselves a bit because working in the fields was tough and their hands were getting dry, they would have used animal fat. But it wouldn't have been a type of animal fat product mixture concoction that went here, and another one that went here, and another one that went on the heels, and another one, being types of herbs and animal fats and different oils that they would have figured out work and do different things.
Yeah.
And they would have always been simple, and they would have always been from the garden or somebody else's garden down the road.
You couldn't get from anywhere else, though. You had to make it. You only had a radius.
They were just always simple, and they would have worked.
Yeah.
And that is what we need to bring back into today, is the simplicity.
Absolutely. So what I say to people is, I'm not creating anything new. I'm bringing the old back.
I love that. That's so good.
We actually have too much information out there, and I think that's mind-blowing as well.
Yes.
So
that can be the daunting part.
It's so daunting, and where do you start?
Yes. Oh, so these ingredients I don't understand, but now I go look them up online, and there's too many websites coming up with different or conflicting information.
Yeah.
And it just comes back to simple basics. If there's few ingredients, it's probably good. If you can read them and look them up easily because you're interested in learning about them, and you find out, oh, they do that. Cool.
Yeah.
Excellent. Done. And then if you can add it into your life easily by in the shower, next to the bed, in the pocket, on the clothes, dab here, dab there, done.
And that's it. We are overwhelmed with too much information now.
Steps and information.
Google's great. It was fabulous, but it's overwhelming. I don't use any fillers or nasties either. What I mean by that is, when you stick a moisturizer on your hand, you're like, oh, it's sunken, it's disappeared. Chances are it's predominantly water. Some people might say to me, oh, your balms are sort of oily because, once again, olive oil, coconut oil, beeswax.
Oily.
Yes. That means you need a little bit, but you also stay hydrated as well. So
it's more softening.
Yeah.
Something I'm really passionate about because of the work we do with autistic families is predominantly work with children, but we have a lot to do with their parents and their siblings. And we know how crazy busy these families are. Just being a parent is busy, crazy busy. But having one child or multiple children on the spectrum, often parents being on the spectrum themselves, there's just a lot going on. Lots of appointments, lots of therapies, and finding time and energy to think about what's in products, but even how to look after themselves. They run ragged. There's just so much going on that they need to look after themselves better. So when mum is well, mum's happy, mum's doing okay, that's going to filter into the rest of the family. So a reason why we wanted to get you on was to delve into that and try and inspire some caregivers to give themselves a little bit more care because they deserve it, for one. And two, to introduce them to the natural side of things. So looking after yourself can mean anything from going out and having a treat dinner.
Yeah.
But it could also mean doing something nice for your skin and your body.
Yeah.
Which is then really, really positive for your well-being because there's no negative effects on that.
The products that I have created is really to do with keep it as simple as possible. So even, for example, the shower steamers, they're created like a bath bomb, but for your shower.
Yes.
And you go, what's the point of that? Well, exactly. Even people that have baths in their house don't use them.
Yeah.
And a lot of houses are being built without baths.
The bath bombs sit dusty in the cupboard that they were given as gifts to use to look after themselves.
It's the best of intentions. You just don't make yourself time to sit down and have a bath.
Whereas a shower,
we're having a shower.
We've got to have a shower anyway, right?
Even if you're quick in and quick out. So the tips with the shower steamer is they're bicarb soda and citric acid. So if you're worried about a septic tank or you're worried about slipping on the floor or anything, my recommendation is to put it into a dish anyway. So put the shower steamer in the dish, activate it with a little bit of water. And I mean a little is like literally a sprinkle of water, and then move it to where the steam's coming up. So that way you're getting this beautiful smell. So move it where the steam's coming up. Leave it in the bathroom if you want, and it still will smell the bath out, your bathroom out the rest of the day. And the little tip so you get a second shower out of it is to add some hot water to it, and it activates it the second day.
Yeah.
So the idea is it's quick, it's simple. Put it in a dish. You're good to go. You're in the shower. Absolutely.
It's not an extended activity. It's not an extra activity. It's practical. That it is uplifting. Energizing, uplifting varieties that you gave me definitely were uplifting because it's like when you break a nice smelling leaf or whatever, or you got to a rose and it smells really nice, and whether it's because it's a smell that you like and it's strong, it's doing something in there physically, but it's also making you just feel nice because the smell is nice.
Absolutely.
So when you pick the smells that you like, and that's why people pick a perfume that they like, because that makes them feel good.
Yeah.
But I think essential oils, especially when they're citrusy, lemony, that kind of thing, they definitely do have an uplifting element. And then the calming ones have been shown to be calming, literally, legitimately. I know you have to be careful about what you say around that, but I'm going to say there's uplifting ones and there are calming ones, and that is really nice. So salt lamp on, lavender shower steamer in at night, went to bed and read a book. I didn't have to do anything extra.
Absolutely.
And I felt nice, and it was natural, so I knew it's safe down the drain. It's safe all around my body. It was fantastic. So when parents and caregivers need a little bit of love, they don't have to go extra mile to make it happen for themselves. They can just put something simple in the shower, a couple of drops of something on their skin in the morning or at night, done. That's how simple it is.
So I've got 3 key products. So one's the shower steamers. As you said, pop it in the shower. You've at least had a bit of a hit. You've treated yourself, even if it's just that feeling that you've done something for yourself, but it hasn't added any extra time. Get out of the shower, and my moisturizers. They go from head to toe.
Perfect next step.
Exactly. But I know a lot of even mums, even if their kids aren't on the spectrum, they just say, I am too busy.
Yeah.
And absolutely, if you had to stand there and do eye cream, face cream, this cream, that cream for your neck, and on
all
it goes,
the different
and then
parts of the body,
absolutely,
it's hard work.
So exactly. So the magic cream I use on my eyes, my face, body, like head to toe.
One-stop shop.
The other thing I would suggest is that when you're out of the shower, instead of drying yourself off completely, if you're slightly damp, rub it in there.
It goes a long way, doesn't it?
It goes a long way. It sinks in.
That tip.
So basically, you're covered from head to toe with that simple tip. Then the other thing is, as you said, the roller ball. So that's my third major sort of product, my 3 key products. The best thing is, carry them everywhere. One in your purse, they're tiny. One beside your bed, etc. And I can guarantee what'll happen is you'll be racing out the door. You'll be halfway to somewhere. You go, oh, I forgot my perfume, or I forgot this.
Yes,
exactly.
Yes.
So the other advantage is quick and convenient. So you're not creating any extra time, but I'm trying to put it in a roller ball that's already diluted, ready to go.
And each member of the family can have their own.
Absolutely,
if they want one for their own needs. Something they can probably take to school if they need to. And a lot of teachers are getting more accommodating of children's sensitivities and needs, and schools are allowing things like that if it's a bit more controlled environments where a child maybe can take their little roller, just like their fidget spinner or their, their shaky glitter toys that help calm them down, putting something like that in that kit could be really beneficial to their day at school. And then they come home calmer.
Absolutely.
Mum's calmer because mum looked after herself just that smidgy little bit that day.
Absolutely. Simple, basic smidge. The other thing is if the child doesn't want it on their body, you can always just add it. One of the theories was to add it to a hanky and you could sort of smell it, but just pop it on the collar of their shirt or something.
Yeah.
As long as they like the smell of it.
Hat, shirt.
Absolutely.
Anything, yeah. Or a tissue in the pocket if that's whatever.
Yeah, just don't wash it.
Yeah, don't wash. I always wash. On a side note, I always wash tissues in pockets. It would also be a nice thing for parents to be able to tell others about. If they've got friends that are doing it just as tough as them or a bit tougher.
Absolutely.
And mums chat and mums or family members like to tell each other what they've found that works, just like a service for their child, a therapy for their child or an activity for their child. Well, hey, I've been using these products. They've made myself feel better, or family member had these experiences with it. Would you like to try one? And then it just spreads and other people can benefit and easily implement that into their lives.
But what's also more important, especially from a parent, is you can't give from an empty bucket. Mm-hmm. So as a carer and a parent, it's really important that your bucket is like your phone. It's recharged. If your bucket's too full and overflowing, you don't allow new things in.
Yeah.
So as always, it's a balance, and it's finding that balance.
It's a type of fuel for the body and mind.
Absolutely.
We know food is fuel. Everyone knows this, but it's a fuel. It's a fuel source, and a fuel source also can be nature time. It can also be what you do for your skin. It can also be relationships that you have. They're all types of fuel. And if we don't get that fuel, we will run on empty and we will conk out, but need a very expensive mechanic for our body. And that's exactly what
and once again, you cannot give from an empty bucket.
Yeah.
So, your children need attention. Everyone needs attention from you, but that's why you've also just got to do that little bit of self-care for yourself.
Key takeaways for me from this would be that there are options for people who are looking for natural options that are not necessarily expensive and, more importantly, not hard work to implement.
Absolutely not.
I think that's key. Practicality, incidental application means I can just get it into my life without making it a stressful experience.
Implement one little change, one small thing.
Someone's starting to think, what's in that moisturizer now that I am putting on my skin every day? That might be the one place a viewer goes to start. You don't have to transition all your products,
absolutely,
all your routines,
definitely not.
Over.
Keep it simple.
Yeah, it can just be one transition product or one transition element. It could be what you put on your body. Overall type or individual specific product. It's important just to start with one thing, do the baby steps, get comfortable with that, and then when you're ready, start with the next product. And what else? If this is good and I like this and I want to go more natural, what else can I implement? What's one thing I can do that is just a little bit of looking after me, because then that looks after everybody else a bit more.
The flow-on effect, absolutely.
Total ripple effect. To consider that natural route.
Consider it, absolutely. Yeah. You're not creating any more efforts, any more steps, one thing, head to toe.